So, based off of the information we had last year, all the growing pains that we went through, I know for me it was the first season I played in a really long time. So I learned a lot about the travel again, and then obviously what it was like to play in that many games throughout the season. So this summer I was able to hone in on areas that I felt I needed to improve on, but also areas that I think will help me in the long term throughout the entire duration of the season. But I feel going into this training camp, we were able to focus more on the season as a whole and prepping for the start of our season versus last year we didn't necessarily have the facts and the information that we have now. So I think our group is in a great spot as we look ahead to November 30th. Last year, like I said, it was a learning experience for me as a player, but also as a captain in a professional league. It was new for me, new for the other captains in the league as well, but I was lucky that I had a lot of really great teammates. We have a great leadership group in Toronto that I can lean on a ton, and I did that a lot last year, and I think this year I'll be able to do that again. But the one thing I learned is that as much as it is important for me to make sure everyone on the team feels good and feels like they're taken care of and they have everything that they need, it's important for me to also pay that same attention to myself. So I think that's something that I'm going to work on a lot this season.
Well, I feel like we haven't really gotten to know everyone to the extent of that we need to before we can talk about like the differences in the team. I mean, I think that the practices so far, you can really see the depth of our group really has heightened, and I think that there are a lot of key players that we've added to our roster. So I think it's just exciting to see that there's a lot of potential there. And like Blayre said, I think honestly just becoming a pro and the lifestyle of it was the biggest adjustment last year, and we're looking forward to next season or this season.
I think the reason why Emma and I have chemistry and whoever we play with right now, we're with Woodsy, I think we're able to communicate really clearly with each other. So we trust each other's opinions, we value each other's opinions, and we know that when we share information or feedback, it's never to hurt the other person, it's always to help. I think that goes such a long way for whoever I play with. I love feedback from them, and I know that my line mates typically appreciate feedback as well. So I think that's a huge reason why we have some chemistry or the potential to build a lot of chemistry. I would also say that the foundation and the tangibles in our game are very similar. So I think Emma and the other Emma Woodsy, we all play a pretty gritty, physical, straight line game, and I think that's something that makes it easy for us to read off of each other.
I'll build off that question as well. Our team's identity is something that we've talked about since day one here. I think we'll continue to build on it. That line in particular is, to be honest, it's like a coach's dream when you're trying to build a team identity. They play the game the right way. They're physical, they're aggressive, they're skilled, they're defensively responsible, and they can produce offensively. So when you have a line like that you can put over the boards, even early in a season, it's like a lot of people will say it's like a coach's line because you can teach through that line. Other people can see the team identity surfacing on a shift-by-shift basis. So that's going to be obviously a big part of our success moving forward. And to answer your question, out of a couple exhibition games like this, I think we learned a little bit from last year on how we should probably approach these games. I thought last year we kind of were like, you're trying to put a stamp on your team right away. You're trying to find some success early. And in reality, it's still a big part is trying to sort out your roster, trying to see who can play at this level, who can have an impact at this level. For us, it's, I'm not too stressed about Blayre and Emma. They're going to be ready for the first game of the regular season, so we want to give an opportunity to some other players to see if they can play at this level and find a way to have an impact.
Yeah, I mean, over the course at Ohio State, her game really took off. I think that offensively, she was able to really just excel at Ohio State and was given a lot of opportunity. And then you saw some adversity that she had to go through at the beginning of last season, and I think that was huge for her. I think she really took advantage of that, and with her new opportunity at Minnesota, she's really blossomed there, so I'm really happy for her.
Yeah, she was a huge part of our success last season, but I think the biggest thing for us as we approach this season without her starting in the lineup is that everyone is aware that they're not going to replace Natalie Spooner. No one's going to go on the ice and try to be the player that she is. I think everyone has an opportunity to step up and be the best player that they can be, and I think it'll be a good test for our team, but at the same time, I think everybody is ready to embrace that and to play their best game to see how our team can do.
Yeah, it's obviously difficult to not have one of your key players, a top scorer and MVP from last year in your lineup, but I think what you'll find with this group as we move forward, obviously this is sort of day one of our exhibition. We're really not that interested in having a lot of conversation about last year, how last year went. It's definitely a forward-thinking kind of group that I think is really important. And it's also like it doesn't do us a lot of good to necessarily talk a whole lot about Natalie Spooner. Right now, Natalie Spooner is doing everything she can do to get back in. She's going to be a big part of our team, so whether we have success or not early on, Natalie's going to be part of that. She's here every day doing what she needs to do to get back at it. But to answer your question, like what it does is it opens up a little bit of a hole for someone else to maybe step into. And it's not that opportunity is not going to be there for Natalie when she comes back, but it does give a little window of opportunity for someone to, either an individual to step up and produce offensively, or collectively as a group, we'll find a way to create that offense. Last year, obviously, she took a big chunk of our percentage of our scoring. But our team was also the top offensive scoring team in the league, and now we just expect it to come from numbers as opposed to primarily from one player. Yeah, personally as a coach, I love it. I think there's all kinds of opportunities within there to have some fun. I think it would be not very responsible of me to share my thoughts on it, to be honest, so I'd rather keep them private. I know when we did a brief presentation to the group on it to just let them know the rule and some of the changes. I saw some chuckles in the dressing room, so I think a lot of minds just go, how can you take advantage? How can you use it to your team's advantage? But yeah, not worth sharing at this point. I would love to. It's probably not in my budget at this point. I wasn't in the waiting list to get a ticket at the actual sale price, so yeah, right now it's not in.
Okay, thank you. And just
Can you
one
imagine?
question you talked a lot. I know I feel bad coming off of that fun question about identity and a new season. Are you guys comfortable sharing any team or personal mottos for this new season? And then you talked about a motto for last season. I wonder if you guys have one for this one.
I feel like again, like it's not. I don't know if it's like early enough to if it's been enough time to like really decide on our motto. I feel like let's see who kind of cracks the roster and who can come together and create that buy-in. I think already you see a lot of girls that are really diving into our being hard to play against style and really taking every day and working really hard on the ice. So I think those will be two pillars of our success, but I think a motto will come with time.
We talk a lot, like as an organization, we're just not ones to necessarily force something. Like a lot of times it's you're trying to create an environment and a culture, but you're just keeping your eyes open and your ears to see what maybe surfaces early in the year, and then being aware enough to kind of use that as something moving forward. So a lot of times mottos and slogans and all those things around your environment and your culture, they just unfold throughout the year. We don't want to push anything or force anything on anybody.